welcome one and all to the draft panel for game number 2 here at the Lima Major Grand Finals. Gamin Gladiators versus Team Liquid. Gamin Gladiators have broken the Nature's Prophet win streak. Eventually it had to lose, no longer 100% win rates. But the interesting thing about this purge is how they made it happen. They used this Primal Beast. It's the first ace Primal Beast of the tournament, the 4th of his entire career. The fact that they can draw out such strategies this deep into the tournament makes me worry a little bit about Liquid going into the second draft.
Take the Nature's Prophet that they're doing so well with, and now they're going to have to switch it up a bit. I think this is a good place to start. Having Treant against Lina is fantastic. It helps offset that insane physical damage advantage that Lina has. We saw her in the fountain out DPSing heroes. So slapping 12 armor on a hero, it really makes a big difference. Being able to overgrowth her after she uses BKB shuts down her offense for a couple seconds, which is really valuable. And Batrider is going to be able to dominate the map as well. So I think this is a good way for Liquid to react.
We saw this ban coming in from them in the first game. Liquid chose not to play against the Batrider. They actually gave Gamin Gladiators the option of playing Lina or the Broodmother. Here they pick it up for themselves. This does mean a lot of early movement from Nisha in the mid lane. Unless it's not an off-lane bat, is it, Lacoste?
Doesn't look like it. Most likely it's going to be played from the mid lane. I'm just wondering, you know, I've been theory crafting some of these heroes like Leshrac, Batriders. I thought we're going to see Oracle. I thought we're going to see potentially Nyx Assassin being brought, because these are kind of like forgotten heroes. They're niche heroes for certain teams. Team Liquid does play it, and I feel like we might see one of those two heroes pop up, especially against the Batrider. Some kind of a dispel mechanic, like even going back to, I would say, like something like a Baton could really work out. It's great against both of these heroes. Sometimes you need to dig deep, like go back in time, go back in Dota time, you know, sometimes back in 2010, 2012. That doesn't mean when sometimes those picks are still very viable considering what they are doing. We had talent changes, we had, you know, some different stuff added, but in theory, here we go. Like this is
it's a great
thing.
Counter.
Yeah.
Ulting the Batrider, already a huge counter. Stops you from moving for 3 to 6 seconds or whatever the heck it is. It's a huge amount of disability that's going to stop Batrider from just chasing people down and kind of doing this poke thing where you're always threatening, doing a huge amount of damage. And then once you get Shard, there's no stacks that are getting built up. So Shadow Demon has been quite effective against Batrider in other matches already. And it has the double benefit of it breaking tree armor too. So it's actually an insane Shadow Demon pick because it already counters both the Team Liquid's heroes.
And also later on, like if you are playing these drawn out fights, BKBs are down, one disruption, offensive one, is set up for your LSA. So once you get out, the illusions of the carry plus Lina with LSA, with the stun and her insane attack speed could finish off the work.
Like what I'm seeing already from Gamin Gladiators. Clearly not very upset about having to deal with Treant Protector on the other side, especially considering that Liquid, there was a point where they were also undefeated on this Treant Protector. Obviously that did end eventually, but nonetheless they've looked very good on it. And it was Gamin Gladiators that broke them from the Treant Protector strat. So
there are a couple of heroes I'm looking at ban when we're playing against the Batrider. There is Queen of Pain, Puck, there is Slark from the mid lane, and also Pango. These 4 heroes work really well in the mid lane from Batrider, so I assume Team Liquid will ban 3 of those that I mentioned.
I don't trust the Slark just yet. We did see it by another team, and it was... Yeah, I mean, there a couple years ago, I remember when Nigma played it a couple times mid, but that was like Miracle at his
good
peak,
memory purge,
beating Batrider mid. It worked really good for like a couple weeks. So, but these days, not quite the same. Doesn't have enough side lane pressure impact without the Diffusal plus Ags type territory, so it takes a little bit too much net worth for it to work, even if the lane is good.
Intriguing that these bans here, they are on the side of Team Liquid, considering that at least for now, that Nisha is good enough to be able to survive a lot of the bevy of bad lanes. They'll pick one to still ban in the next phase here, but the fact that they remove the Undying, they are really scared of giving Dyraicho any kind of backup from Celery. And Celery's hero pool has not been the widest here at the tournament.
I think it also comes down to these 2 heroes not being able to deal with the Tombstone. So you have literally nothing. It's also a comfort pick. But looking at the bans from Gamin Gladiators, they're heavily protecting this Lina. Like all 3 bans heavily targeted. Lina does not like to play into these heroes, even though I think Ursa could have been left in the pool considering you're playing into Shadow Demon, but Shadow Demon can't use ulti on everybody until he gets Ags, which is a pretty tough matchup for Ursa to play into.
I assume they're also protecting some like tanky, semi-passive offlaner as well. Those are the heroes that Slark and Ursa usually counter, so some Tide type hero, Liquid's going to ban it. Maybe an Underlord, something like that.
And again, Team Liquid with repositioning tools. Last game against Lina, they had Magnus. This time it's going to be Tiny, which I think is slightly better coming out from position 4. Like you don't really care too much if you're dying. You also build into 4-staff later on, so you can get out of the trouble. So a lot of repositioning tools, a lot of heroes that can stall the game on side of Liquid, and this is going to be the Pango, one of I'd say Quinn's better heroes overall. You know that his hero pool's not the biggest. He managed to bang out Timbersaw in the previous game, which was kind of a new one, I would say. But still, this Pango is a menace.
I wonder if we're going to see if Team Liquid's available to flex the Tiny to support, is what I'm wondering about Jabs. Because if this is Boxy here, obviously it's a total possibility. And Tiny's had tons of success as a 4 position. I could even see them picking like a Bloodseeker for their last pick, very commonly banned in the second phase, if somebody opens with Tiny. But if they can make it work with their player combo, I'd really like that, because Bloodseeker's going to be amazing against Pango as well. Obviously, Shadow Demon can be a little problematic, and Lina's totally happy. It's just, oh, stand still. Oh, all right, no big deal. I'll stand still and kill you anyways.
Might destroy their lanes, because then you would have, like, what, mid-Tiny, you would have a Batrider on the off lane, and some other carry.
Why not Tiny 4, Tree 5, Bat mid, is what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what I think it is.
Seems likely. I mean, Mickey has played this Tiny in the past as well here at this tournament. There's a non-zero chance he could end up going for that particular route. And it's still an open question as to where this Tiny actually goes. Or not Tiny, the Treant Protector actually goes this game. Given that Jabs being reintroduced into the team, I suppose you don't want to give him... The Tiny 4 is a lot of responsibility. We've seen on the side of Talon that when it's played incredibly well, it can almost single-handedly win you the game. But it can be lackluster if not given the maximum impact. But looks like they are going to consign either Jabs or Insania to playing this Tiny as they pick up now the Sniper.
Great Sniper game. In terms of Pango, his entrance to the game could be a bit more difficult, playing into Batrider's Lasso, BKB piercing ability. Same goes for Overgrowth, and then you have Sniper, who's going to keep the distance. None of these heroes love to close the gap other than Pango, so he needs something from the off lane, something that can play with him. Some kind of vision hero. I'm, again, looking for potentially a Beastmaster, BKB piercing ability on their side. Even Centaur, Ace's Centaur has been pretty amazing. Like whenever he plays, like even in the previous game, Ace completely dominated. He had a good matchup. He played against Nature's Prophet, but his itemization getting on early Vanguard and then completely dominating the game from there was pretty top notch. And speaking of Primal Beast,
Yeah, it's scary. You don't want these gap close heroes. I really do like the Sniper, though. These 2 supports at max range are not going to like dealing with Sniper. If they can get close enough to even cast their spells, it's not necessarily going to protect you enough either way. So it feels like if Liquid gets a jump with these current setups, Sniper's going to do way too much damage. The only person he might have some trouble with is Lina, but Liquid has defeated Lina lineups with Sniper in the past.
To make matters even worse, we have this backup of the tree, right? And we've seen what the Treant Protector does when you have this squishy range hero. Squishiness is no longer the problem for the Sniper in this game. So what do we still need here? Gamin Gladiators, they will have themselves a 23rd pick, and Liquid has the opportunity to respond on 24. Lacoste, what are you seeing that's missing from Gamin Gladiators? What is Derecho? I mean, Derecho's probably going to play the Lina, so we still need a hero for Ace. What does Ace need to do in this game, and how does he accomplish it with the heroes that are left in the pool?
I think he might just be the aura builder in this game. From like either Centaur, and I mentioned Beastmaster. I think those 2 could work out pretty good if you want to have like just the whole team running at Sniper and they ban out Centaur. So not too many options left. I think if they had a position 4 who's melee, Darkseer would have been an option, but this time around it isn't.
Yeah, the downside of picking the Shadow Demon, really. It's kind of like that same Disruptor trap where like it feels like such a good support for the game, but it does limit your options a bit in aggressiveness. So they're going to need something instead.
I'm just gonna say it. It could be Doom also. It's a bit of on a greedier side, but you know that it's gonna come down to Sniper versus Lina matchup, and if you Doom Sniper, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. They do have some repositioning tools, reset with the toss, with Overgrowth, the defensive one. And on side of Liquid, I wouldn't mind seeing something like Lycan, because both supports, they really don't deal well with Lycan summons.
Just like Rush Down. Actually, Lycan, we've seen into some of these squishy range heroes purge that Lycan Rubik has been an option presented there as well. Is there any hope of them going for the Zoo at the end of the draw for GG?
For the GG side, Zoo would be okay in that it usually runs down your opponent a bit, but if it's not Lycan, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan, but this can work if you have vision and you're able to go in first with Aurora followed up with the Pango roll. So this is definitely pretty decent.
So let's see, for Team Liquid, probably going to be the Nisha Batrider. The hero hasn't seemed nearly as strong in the off lane, and I don't really want to see it up against a Lina either. So what is in the pool for our boy Zai here? He can't play his Enigma, his Snapfire's gone, can't play Tide, cannot play Centaur, cannot play Primal Beast, can't play the Brood either, so Zoo potential from a Lycan or a Visage, or is there any other aura builder that makes sense here? Underlord perhaps, but I don't know.
Huh. I'm just seeing Lycan. I'm liking it a lot, I would say. It just feels very natural. Okay, so they're going to shift things around, it seems. Kunkka, hero, last time I checked, was sitting at 10% win rate.
Insania Tiny. It's going to be a 4 Tiny, it looks like.
All
Jabs is playing the tree. Zai, it's an off-lane Batrider. It is a mid Kunkka. Terrible win rate at this event. Yep, but still picked. I mean, the setup is pretty solid against these supports. They've got disruption to save from it. I mean, it allows you to jump on the Lina, which is good. And it's going to make them all really tanky and be even more frontline for Mickey. Like, they basically have 4 heroes that are ready to run in. Mickey's going to sit in the back peeping. So
yeah,
it's kind of cool, but the win rate is not encouraging.
Yeah, I think Team Liquid does have much better chances in this one. Still, it's Kunkka. I'm not really, it's not that oomph, you know, effect that the hero has. I'm still looking to see Gamin Gladiators in terms of execution, how they're going to do it. Might struggle a little bit. Something that Purge mentioned is a lot of frontliners for this sniper, so it might be a bit more difficult to close the gap, but I feel like Gamin Gladiators are going to do it in Game 2 again.
All right, before we get into the game itself, Purge, when you look at this Team Liquid draft, what do they need to do in order to ensure that they get this Game 2 victory?
Save Overgrowth for the right times. If they can interrupt Rolling Thunder and the BKB from Lina, that's a lot of the team fight already. So keep that separation, keep those heroes away from Sniper, allow Sniper to peep away with his high DPS and his high net worth after the laning stage goes well, and then they can definitely win fights and close the game out.
We'll see if Team Liquid has onboarded this kind of advice and will utilize their heavy sustain lineup in order to ride the momentum into victory, or if it's going to be GG going 2-0 up here in the Grand Finals. To find out, we send it over to our world-class casters. We have Cap and SVG for game number 2. Take it away, boys, and bring us more of the hype.
Well, we're going to do our best here, Snare, but currently, Gamin Gladiators sitting a score of 3-0 over Liquid. They've already won 1 best-of-5. Avery, it's not looking so good for them.
I mean, best-of-5's a lose term, you know. You still got a lot of games to play here. Anything can happen.
Yeah, okay.
Miracles happen in the darkest of times, Cap.
I
when
mean,
you think everything is lost, you have a stand-in. You pick the lowest win rate hero of the tournament.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's when you can strike back.
I like how your choice of optimism is just going deeper into despair, and then the smallest and littlest of light can seem really, really
sometimes you
illuminating.
You go down so far that you break through the bottom, and then you're somehow back on top. Just
Okay.
like that.
All right.
That's what Quinn did with me. So
that is true. And look where he is now.
Doing great. This game, you have a similar setup. Honestly, if the Liquids of the Fountain cannot quench this Lina, I don't know what will. But you're going to try a round 2 at least here if you're Liquid. And that said, you don't have the Furion this time, but you do have the Dwarven Sniper. As I try and talk over this crowd.
It's pointless, Avery. You just got to give it up.
I did give it up. What I was going to say is, you know, this Sniper is like the poor man's Lina, but it's a question of how poor of a man's Lina this Dwarven Sniper is. I feel like it's comparing a Ferrari to a Ferrari with only 2 wheels. But you might get it across the finish line, you know? You might get there.
Insania, is he going to be giving up first blood here? He's going to come through the trees, but the shield crash did catch him, so he's going to be slowed down. The LSA, Duraccio is going to land a second one here, and that should be our first blood. They're going to give it over to Quinn for the first blood.
Why not? He's delivered with everything else this tournament.
I mean, he had a fantastic performance on that Timber Saw. Gamin Gladiators will manage to pick up 3 bounty runes on top of that.
Oh, God, it's already looking rough, Cap.
It really is. One thing we did talk about between the break, though, you and I, was the fact that draft-wise, it did not feel good for Liquid in Game 1, particularly the lanes.
That was a big problem.
Is that better in Game 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
It should be better. I say that because the problem is Liquid's playing two supports on side lanes they've never played with, right? Insania is taking up this 4, and now Jab's just filling in for the team. So that side lane synergy is not there where I would normally expect them to maybe pull ahead. But that said, I think Sniper is very good versus Beast in lane. This is a pick we saw counter-picking the Beast in a lot of that European regional. So mid-game should be very comfortable up here. But again, it comes down to execution, and you gave away 3 runes and a first blood. So looking at these lanes, you're already going to be fighting uphill if you're Liquid. And you got to make the most of it, because if this Beast takes over the map, you're going to see a similar thing to Game 1, where Lina's just going to have all the space to farm because Ace and Quinn are just going to run around the map, have all the vision to do it, join this hit squad together. The Shadow Demon allows them to frontline versus Batrider in those engagements. I would look for Tofu to pick up the shard pretty early in this game for the cleanse. The Purge is also great versus the BKBs that Liquid want to pick up in terms of Kunkka and this Batrider. And then you always have this disruption save. So honestly, this Shadow Demon pick worked out really well in my opinion draft-wise. And Tofu was popping off Game 1. I expect a similar deliver in Game 2.
Yeah, he's had great performances all tournament long. Probably a little overlooked, honestly. This lane, man. I'm just looking at it with all the trees. This Train Protector is
very sad.
Very, very sad. Is things going a little bit better in mid lane? I mean, Nisha was having a hard time against Quinn last time around because Timbersaw versus the Tusk. This time around, Pango versus Kunkka. Surely Kunkka has got to be a lot more even, if not favored in this matchup, right?
Oh, he's going to do fine in the early ways for sure. That said, I still think this Pango here is just a stronger hero. His spells are just arguably better. He scales harder when you get to Ags, Basher, the late game with even the Shard. It's really hard to go on this hero, and he ends up going on your carry and just debilitating him in the fight. So even in this type of matchup, I'd still rather have the Pango, but maybe Nisha can pull some tricks out of the old Pirate hat and get going. Because if you get a good game on this Kunkka, then he can go and shut down the Beastmaster. He can give you the sustain in the fight where Sniper can stand his ground with the bow drum, right? Those aspects of the pick are really nice.
Oh, Jabs, he's got a lot of Shadow Poison stacks on him here. He's going to pop the stick.
Hit the 6th?
See if he can get a 6 stack in there, and still, it's a ton of damage. And even if he lives, right, it's going to feel pretty bad here. Nice toss back, though. Celery with so many, a lot of charges here, too. And Celery, he's not going to be able to get away
7
quite like
higher
Jabs
than 6
did.
cap.
That's true. That's
7
a good point.
is higher than 6, and at least you're striking back here. Sad it's not first blood, but you'll take it. The thing about the Shadow Demon on the lane is anytime you can force out those huge poison stacks, you basically run out of mana on the hero.
Okay.
And then you're kind of a dead hero on the lane for a little bit. Sure, you can double mango up here, but then that basically gives you one more kill attempt. So honestly, Jab surviving there, pretty big. Mickey is not going to feel much pressure here. He's going to take all this farm under tower. Ace does have a pretty good start because, of course, Beast versus Tree, and you can just cut all the trees with the axes, as we saw. Get a nice little half pull here with the flag bearer. So once again, Gaming very comfortable on all 3 lanes. 3 runes into the first blood, plus free farm for 3 cores. Once again, I can see this game snowballing pretty fast, and you're already weathering a bit of an early game storm here if you're Liquid.
Yeah, the way you would talk about Tuss as a mid laner, how he can kind of weather through any matchup because he just spams spells. I feel like Beastmaster kind of the same way. Now that everybody goes the Axes build early on, and when it comes to laning phase, even bad matchups seem kind of fine just because you just constantly throw out Axes for both CS and hero harassment.
The hero can get destroyed on lane, but you can also just stack Ancients for him. I feel like a lot of times we saw 33 play this Beast. You just stack the Ancients, even if the lane's kind of bad, you go there, you get recovered.
Right.
You can do the same thing for these Batriders. It's why I think we're seeing the progression of this offlane in that direction this tournament. Because if you just have a hero you're very confident with going in the mid game, and even if you get shut down, he'll still get there, then you just feel great.
And you get the flame break back with the avalanche as well. Duraccio is in some trouble. Now he does have an LSA, but it may not be up in time. Oh, he's barely getting away. Pops the stick, turns around, finishes offside. Now Insania can't do the damage either. Celery will actually walk away with both the last hits. You can see the smiles on Duraccio and Celery. They just outplayed one of the best duos in the game.
Duraccio, early boots with those launch charges, putting him to good use. And yeah, Jabs, he's having a rough lane up here. I feel for him. This is not an easy matchup, especially if you haven't played it in a while, which I'm guessing he hasn't.
Yeah,
especially if you haven't played in a while in the grand final of a major. Makes it a little more difficult. So you have to just power through this phase if you're Liquid. Remember, they made some pretty damn good moves in that mid game last time from a rough position. So as long as you get out in this game a little better than last game, I don't think the steamroll you between Primal Beast and Timber is going to get matched here between Pango and Beast. At least in theory, you have a bit more breathing room, especially with this Kunkka. this pick can stop a lot of early aggression.
Quinn's got his level 6. They were setting up for it. The disruption into the Rolling Thunder. Hits him once. See if he can hit him a third time here with the shield crash and the swashbuckle. That should be enough damage. The fairy fire cannot save it.
Man, Quinn's just been outplaying Nisha in these one-on-ones. Setting the moves up for his team. At least you get that rebuttal. Not a bad move by Insania here. Maybe studied Boxy's replays to play this Tiny. As that does mean Zai gets sacrificed in this off lane. And of course, you have Lina, who can just go early Maelstrom here. Always a scary sight. And Gaming are right back to their MO with the early triangle stacking. No blocks for you this time off that Ricky. You're gonna have to do it the hard way, either invade it or do some stacks of your own. But Insignia, he just got his boots out. He hasn't been able to match the sort of economy. And Beast can protect that triangle as well. So it's a question of who takes the stacks here for Gaming. Maybe they all want it.
Yeah, they got a lot of heroes that can't take it, that's for certain. 2,000 net worth of lead already for Gamin Gladiators. And we saw from that top kill earlier, Insania is already kind of resorting to just roaming around. In fact, he's going to take the mid lane while Nisha is away. He's going to be playing a bit of jungle, perhaps an opportunity to gank top if it shows itself.
I mean, you say take mid. No one's taking mid right now versus Quinn. He has another Rolling Thunder up. Insania's going to block one of these stacks, scout a bit of it out. But this just feels bad for Nisha, man. He's just jungling a big camp with this Kunkka at this point in the game. It's not really ideal.
It's going to feel even worse if he dies to it, too. Shield crash hits him first. Tried to hit him with the X to stop the Rolling Thunder. Didn't go off in time. And now he is in the perfect position just to get Rolling Thundered over and over and over again. A toss over to the side. Managed to juke the last one. The swashbuckle isn't enough either. So they will survive on Nisha ever so barely.
Bodrum doing wonders there because you have all the poison stacks on you.
Yeah.
Shadow Demon pretty nice versus Kunkka as well. But Nisha dodges that last Rolling Thunder, saves his life. And now Quinn is trying to make up for it. We'll find that little support kill. So once again, Quinn is off to a very fast start here. It's been the name of the game the whole tournament, and he is not letting up. 3-0, highest net worth for his Pango. He is living life. Even a bottle refill. What a nice team.
Everything showing up for Quinn because he's been putting on some great performances. So might as well believe in him. Make rotations, secure power runes for him, give him bottle refills, because he will pay it forward.
Yeah, he's paid it back every game. This is not a tournament where some of the performances have been hit or miss.
Yeah.
He has destroyed games on a lot of these heroes, and he plays a wide variety of them. Even that last game, 12-1.
They're going for Nisha again.
He's up very far.
The shield crash will slow him down a bit here. Now they don't have the Rolling Thunder, so Nisha should be fine, but that was very bold. And now it looks like he's gotten jabs in an awkward position, trying to teleport to help out, but now he's just going to be chain stunned down. Quinn dominating already.
The crash on mid for the runes for the 6 and 8, the tri-lane. You have to be ready for these types of skirmishes because Quinn loves them. This guy, he loves to get the lane matchup. He loves to understand it better, gain an advantage, and then call supports to help him. And this is why, because once you get snowballing, all his heroes are killers. And he just takes over the map. He's going to start picking you off. He's going to start contesting the runes, get in your jungle. They have the beast vision to do it. Before you know it, you haven't seen Dyrachyo in 20 minutes, and he's in your fountain farming you with Satanic, right?
Yeah, what do you think about the Lina? Them giving away that Lina again? Sure, there's a lot of heroes you need to stop Gamin Gladiators from getting. Zai. Lasso pull back into the tier 1 would have been nice, but instead he gets disrupted. They do manage to get the avalanche to stop the follow-up there. Zai may still fall. Oh, the shadow poison was not quite enough. Man, Tofu's getting, I'm not going to say unlucky because it's just straight damage, but he's been so close to nabbing some kills, but just falls about 50 damage short every time.
Oh,
Quinn, mid-swashbuckle, toss away. That's pretty nice.
This should be a kill.
Yeah, with all the stuns coming in, do they have the damage to finish him off? The living armor's doing a lot, but he doesn't have any mana, so it's not like he could get away either. And Celery, yeah, it doesn't get spotted right away. Mickey is here.
Yeah, Mickey cannot stay bottom versus, or cannot stay top versus Beastmaster any longer. At a certain point, those creeps become too strong. So he wants to trade towers down here. But again, you really want to convert on this if you're Liquid, because you got the big Pango kill on top of it.
Yeah.
Just found him in the trees. Nice little freebie.
They're not actually hitting the tower bottom. Maybe it would just take too long with living armor to deal with.
Maybe they're just scared of Gaming bringing everybody. You go back to that game 1, every time they pushed aggressively, Gaming brought their whole team.
Yeah,
just
that's
matched
true.
them, especially the 2 cores between Ace and Quinn. I would be a little less worried about this Beastmaster because I think Beastmasters tend to just want to play their own game more than the reactionary one. But you can't blame them from being a little skittish about the reactions. And of course, if you're skittish, Dyrachyo is going to punish you. Another mega ancient stack that's not been blocked up. This smoke is aimed to kill Ace, I believe. Just try and prevent this tier 1 going down.
That's really interesting because they have a ward on the high ground watching Dyrachyo farm.
They know this Lina is doing this right now, so they are picking their poison, and they're going to say, Ace, you're the bigger threat to the map. We're going to let Lina get her stack, but you are going to pay the price.
The TP being used is a nice little bonus for Liquid there. But, you know, so many threats on the map. Dyrachyo cleaned out that ancient stack, is now doing the hard camp as well. So it doesn't really feel that bad for Gamin Gladiators, I don't think.
No, I don't think Ace is sad about that rotation too much. And I don't think Gaming are sad because Tofu's been able to sit bottom, get his level 6 on the Shadow Demon. This is a hero where the levels are all important in getting into that mid game. And they can defend the towers. This is a very static map in terms of who's pressuring who outside of the Beastmaster trying to force the issue. There's not a lot of tower push on this Liquid side, but they do have a lot of tower defense. Between Kunkka, Treant, even the Sniper, being around those tier 1s, giving them the vision. Those are the engagements Liquid want to take. So I feel for why they went to that Beast, right? You have to start shutting them down so that when those engagements go to your early towers, you're ready to take them, and you can actually take the fights that you want to in this game.
Uh-oh, Nisha. Very smart move, using the X on himself to try and contest the power runes.
Flirting with danger, my man.
Yeah, he certainly was. The Batrider, Zai, is going to also be flirting with some danger. Here's the Diffusal Blade, just got picked up by Quinn, and his TP is not going to work.
Very bold teleport. I mean, early Diffusal plus the double damage, that's a guaranteed kill on somebody as long as it connects. So again, the rune control from the advantage Quinn builds on mid. These little things start adding up, and that's why so many games have snowballed so fast for this team. Cannot let this Pango get back out of control. And then once more, Ace is going to start to push top. He has his Helm of the Dominator. Jabs, you want to fight this tower, but it's honestly so low, and where's the help, right? Your bat is dead. Nisha, you can TP up here, but he's trying to close in on BKB. They'll glyph it for now. Still, this is kind of a fight you want to take if you're Liquid, because you're not going to get too many of them.
Rubik ends up stealing Take Aim. Not quite as good as the living armor that he stole earlier from the Dream Protector. Zion's going to try and help Insania here. It's going to be a close call. Telekinesis before he can get the lasso. Intercepted by Gamin Gladiators. And now they're going to try and grab for more. With the Rolling Thunder, they're going to chase down Nisha here. Level 6 is up on the Dream Protector. He actually doesn't have mana for Overgrowth, though. But
just a little tap on his head.
Yeah.
Say, I know what's up. I know I've won mid versus you like the last 5 times.
Yeah, that has been a thing. I mean, we always hold Nisha. The common thing is everybody kind of holds this guy as potentially the best player in the world. But is he actually the best laner in the world?
I think that is an area you can exploit him. I think people consider him the best because of the well-rounded nature of his gameplay. But in a straight one-on-one, I might take Quinn.
I mean, Quinn's making a pretty good argument this tournament.
Like, his laning is crazy good.
I like how hesitant you say that, like it's sacrilegious.
Well, I mean, I know that's going to create an entire thread of how dare he besmirch the god's name.
The thing is, certain players are just better at certain aspects of the game, and
it's about how you can exploit those.
Yeah, and to Quinn's credit, right, his laning is a specialty for him.
I mean, I hope so. That's what he spent the most time on, so
yeah.
If it's not good by now, I don't know what to tell you, son.
Well, maybe it's paying off now.
We also went into the hyperbolic training chamber with Sumail in one-on-one lobbies forever. Can't really ask for a better master, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Continuing to build up Liquid. Not really having too many options, too many moves to make.
Kill a couple creeps.
Yeah, that's about it. Certainly not killing heroes.
No, and that's part of where the gap is just too hard to close right now. You have some of the damage in the team fight, but Zai went bots first, and he just can't run into these lineups, right? It's not going to be some super fast blink. He needs other items to scale in this game, but you can't run into the Beastmaster boars. There's a Rubik Lift, there's a Shadow Demon Purge, Diffusal on this Pangolier. the ways to start the engagement right now for Liquid are really hard, which is why I was saying you really want to keep your tier 1s up so you can get the fight of gaming going into you.
Sure,
That's where the boat, the overgrowth, the tiny spells can be a lot easier to cast, and then the fight comes naturally.
And the sniper as well, right?
Yes,
maybe not the spells, but just him right-clicking behind the tower feels pretty nice.
So at least you have this tier 1 mid you can play around. You still have your triangle that Mickey's been farming. This game looks better than last one because at least you are getting routed super early on the map. But again, you're in this position where Zai is behind.
Do not leave the trees.
Quinn is out of control. And now that tier 1 push comes in, this is what's going to open up Roshan for the gaming lineup, which means Aegis for Lina, who we haven't really talked about Dyrachyo, but he is doing Lina things, has not died, has the early boots of travel on top of the Maelstrom. So this is the super fast accelerating greedy build. Of course, you can always bots to the beast creeps as well, just creating extra lane pressure.
Catching Nisha from the side of the LSA, and then the roar afterwards. Whew, man. Kunkka is supposed to be a tanky hero. He didn't look like it there. Nice use of the purge there from Tofu. Better flame break, though, bumps him back into lasso, while at the same time, Insania trying to hold this mid lane. Doesn't work so well for him. Rolling Thunder is going to be able to catch up to Mickey. Jabs, he's going to show up in overgrowth, but immediately gets resolved.
Already have the shard.
Oh, needily used roll up. That's pretty cool.
Yep, so this overgrowth, it's not that good anymore, honestly. It's pretty hard here. And now your tier 1 mid is down. You lose your triangle to Ace. He's going to start to take over even more of your map through the vision and the unit control. X on Celery can play a lot here. You have a lot of games you can throw.
Team's going to try and help out Zai, but he's already taken so much damage. He's not going to be able to Firefly over the cliff. They get a toss back on the Beastmaster. Nisha's here with this full combo. It's gonna, Insania's already dead. Beastmaster's gonna be tanky, and he gets a disruption to save him. So there's no way Liquid could stick around for this.
I mean, if you're Bat and Tiny are dead, you have no damage unless Mickey has suddenly found a Divine Rapier in the jungle.
Yeah, and he's forced to use his first BKB charge just to stay alive, and he's still perched up. He still may die here. If they want to dive him underneath tier 2, he is gone.
And that was a fight where the creep that Dyrachyo was botting to died. So Lina was going to join that engagement, didn't even make it, and you're still getting cleaned up here on Liquid side. Yikes. There's just nowhere to run with this lineup, but I feel like Nisha's game on this Kunkka is way too hard. There's too many saves, there's too many kiting elements in the fight, and there's a lack of damage. The damage is supposed to come from the Batrider, but he got sacked on the lane, and he's really far behind. Cleanse is already out for Tofu on this Shadow Demon. I mean, that's even more of your damage going out the window. This is going to be another very quick game unless Liquid pull an even bigger rabbit out of the even tinier pirate hat that is shrinking every minute.
Giant hair.
I feel for Jabs, you know. This is a very tough introduction back into the top echelons of competitive Dota.
I mean, he had his opportunity with that lower bracket finals to experience victory on the main stage. I'm sure that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for him. And it's kind of looking like a once-in-a-lifetime experience the way this series is going, because Gamin Gladiators are going to take that Roshan like you were talking about. It seems like, you know, it was inevitable at this point. They're going to get an Aegis. I'm not even sure if Dyrachyo needs it because he has BKB, but I guess no one else is going to take it.
Yeah,
oh, no, Quinn.
Wants it. Honestly, you could deny it.
Yeah, seriously.
Dyrachyo just doesn't even care.
That would be the most BM move of all
way
time.
Too BM. There's no way this team's going to do it. They're too wholesome.
That's true.
But of course, the state of the game, it's, again, where is the damage going to come from here? As Nisha is just gone again, I think.
Yeah. He didn't pop the BKB early, and if you don't do that, you're going to just die. Dyrachyo gets his BKB up before the last. Okay, they get the lasso on him, but there's no damage. Like you said, as soon as the sniper is gone or the Batrider's gone, all damage goes out the window. And Gamin Gladiators have completely run away with this game. This is one of the most one-sided games of the Lima Major.
Lina Major, did you say?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard, Lina Major? Of course, I think there's a lot of other problems in this game than Lina, but it's rough. And this is the problem with this team. You just can't ban what they want to do out. There's so many bans that got put towards Ace. He gets last pick, he still finds a hero with which he can protect his carry, build some auras, give him the Roshan, the early towers. It's all he wants to do. You can commit all the bans, you can commit all the attention, but he's still going to get away with it. And of course, Quinn is still dominating Nisha on this mid lane. Yep. It's a problem. I think the one grace you can go back to with this Liquid lineup is if you give Mickey and Nisha really good starts, maybe you can start to run away with the game and build some momentum. But if you can't outlane him and you can't get the matchups through the draft, it's just too tough. And again, I feel for Liquid because your support duo isn't there, and that's maybe the one way you can skew some of these matchups or make it back. You don't have that to fall back on. You don't have it to rely on here. It makes these early games even more punishing if you fall behind. But Grand Finals is Grand Finals.
Yeah, these teams are here for a reason, in particular, Gamin Gladiators. Liquid, of course, managed to make it here with a stand-in, which is particularly impressive, but they are showcasing. There are levels to the game here, and Quinn
is here, but he got
really good intro. They do manage to get an overgrowth on him. He immediately rolls up and managed to get some rolling away. Now he's going to go back for Mickey. Look to stall him. Perched up. He actually tossed him over to the sniper to try. At this point, he's going to try and run away with the BKB, but they are done. This game 2 is over. Gamin Gladiators absolutely stomped Liquid in this game 2.
I can't help but feel these games are getting more and more one-sided, which is not the direction you want to be going in. At least if you're starting to figure something out, maybe you feel like, okay, game 3, we can pull it back and strike a blow. But this is just getting out of control. I feel like these guys already think they won it at this point.
I mean, probably feeling that way. They're probably feeling like this is when you just managed to bring down Liquid, who again got here off of beating Talon.
Who have been very good this tournament.
They 2-0 Talon. Now they're here in the Grand Finals, and Gamin Gladiators is making it look easy. This doesn't look like major finals. This is kind of looking like just another day in Western Europe DPC for Gamin Gladiators.
It's rough. I feel for him. It's a very tough position that Liquid's in. You got to try and find something here because you don't just want to give it away for free, right?
No.
You at least want to put up a fight. You at least want to show that, hey, yeah, we're down a man, but we're still pretty damn good. And now Gaming, they have all the comfort in the world. You can't ban them out. You got to play versus some of their poison. They're up 2 games on you. If I'm Liquid, I feel like I just go back to, I don't want to tell them to go back to comfort, but I feel like you have to get your support duo functioning on some good level here. You forced Insania out of his natural position. You're missing perhaps the best 4 in the world, or one of the best for sure, who's a huge shot caller. So you have to get that support duo functioning on as good a level you can so that your cores feel more comfortable in these lanes and getting out of this early game. Because right now, you are not getting out of these early games.
Nope.
The second this clock hits the 10 to 15 minute mark, feels like these games are already in the bag. It's just a matter of closing it out. And I say 10 to 15 because this game ended at 19. So maybe you feel like you can pull it back in the mid game, but at this point you're not getting there.
Yeah.
You just need stronger lanes, stronger dual lanes, stronger support duo, and I would just try and give Nisha last pick if you can get it. Give him a matchup that he feels like, hey, I'm going to go in here and crush Quinn. I'm going to delete this guy from the game instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. I know all this is like, well, that sounds great if you can put it together.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you wish you had a lot more time to put it together too when you have basically a brand new team and how it's functioning. But time is not on your side. We are looking at game 3 and potentially one of the first NA major champions in a long time.
Yeah,
and a lot new major champions as well for this Gaming Gladiators teams. These guys have not been here before.
Oh,
They're looking at a trophy.
They want it real bad. You could tell that they're quite hungry for it. And, I mean, especially just looking at the performance from Game 1 to Game 2, right? They slipped up a little bit in Game 1. Game 2 was totally clean, right? They just said, we're not going to even give you a chance at playing some Dota here. We won the lanes, and that's just it.
Yeah, it just ends. It's the nature of a Beastmaster arena. The second you lose towers, the second you lose Roshan, you're going to lose your map control. Ancients fall. You get one fighter on the tier 2. And they call GG because they know after that, you're just getting pushed, and you don't have any damage in the tank.
Well, we've got the best minds in this stadium here playing out this finals when it comes to Dota, but we've got some other minds who can maybe come up with some answers for Team Liquid as they are down 0-2 against Gamin Gladiators. Are we going to see a Game 4? I don't know. We'll ask the panel.
Well, at this rate, Cap, I'm not so sure if we will. Gamin Gladiators definitely seem to be on fire here, especially in this second game we just watched. And we did hear the crowd. They're cheering on one person in particular. It's Cabezon. Cabezon.
You're doing it. There we
I'm
go.
doing it. I'm doing it.
Cabezon.
Now,
Cabezon.
Chavez!
Tsunami, I believe you are aware what it means. I mean, they mean it very lovingly.
Yes, the direct translation, according to Google Translate, said pig-headed, which is probably not as endearing as the intended definition, or rather the slang that seems to be prevailing, which is he's got a big head.
Perhaps like he's really smart,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Nothing
Big
to
brain.
do with the aesthetics,
Big
nothing to
brain.
do with the visual. It's the fact that he's a genius, and he
true.
exhibited it in this game number 2, game number 1, this entire tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can go off that real quick, but to be fair, this game, he did get the early first blood on Insania before the rune spawn. I was being a little harsh. Maybe Nisha needs to step up, but then I kind of realized that mid lane was a bit harder because he got a free first blood there. But at some points in this matchup, I do want to see Nisha play something that can pressure Quinn. Like, these games have been fast. They've been decisive. You know, the game number 1, there was a little misplay, I think, from Gaming Gladiators. That was not present in this game number 2 whatsoever. I do want to see Nisha kind of try and shut down Quinn, kind of get that last pick. Maybe not a Kunkka, but
I was going to say,
something
because
more aggressive.
overall last pick was the Kunkka.
But there was a first blood. He got a free first blood on Quinn, and that can make a big difference. And Kunkka has like a 5% win rate or something in this tournament, so maybe not that hero.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Kunkka at all. Everything feels sort of hard as soon as Quinn gets a good game, because every time I look at the screen, he's like diving a tower, killing someone. He's playing phenomenally. He's hitting every spell. And it's just hard for them to do anything else. And you have Celery playing this Rubik, and he's just always with him. He's always getting involved. Like, while like Tofu is just happy to sort of like help push out waves and stuff, or like hold towers a little bit more. And they're able to split their resources across the map because Quinn is having such a good game.
Yeah, even if Liquid was able to get aggressive at any point in this game, which they didn't, I think Tofu's positioning was consistently defensive. He was ready for any potential movements, and Liquid never really had an opportunity to do anything aggressive. Even just trying to kill a Pango mid against this living armor, it takes ages, and it takes nearly 3 heroes to do it. And Dyrachyo once again gets his hands on the Lina. No deaths. He's okay, you were allowed it for 2 games. My intention perhaps now is...
I thought it was a Treant. What's now?
Okay, you know, I'm in there in the booth with Blitz, you know? We were aligned. He went for the Treant Protector, second pick. The Lina was overall first. Here's my theory now.
Maybe we should stop coaching him. It's not working.
Perhaps, but I'd be pretty satisfied with the second place result regardless. I say Jabs quickly learns how to play IO on a Grand Finals major. I think that's a great idea for him, because then you can let the Leshrac go through and then take the IO yourself. I'm sure he can handle it. IO, one of the easiest support heroes in the game.
This game, game 1, we had Team Liquid having a rough laning stage, but then they made a comeback because they had like a plan, and that plan definitely had a power spike, if you will.
Yeah.
What was the plan this time? When was their power spike?
Well,
or could they just not do anything, and that first blood was like it was wrecked?
I mean, it's not just the first blood, right? I think Quinn, he's just got Nisha's number this entire tournament so far, which is very weird to say, as we all thought Nisha would come out and be the superstar and carry every matchup. And I even thought in this matchup he'd at least win a couple games or games here and there in the mid lane and make something happen, but it was a little bit difficult for them. And I think this game they got to focus on the lanes really hard. Their side lanes are also a problem. It's not just the mid lane, so all 3 lanes need to step up.
Yeah. They also like push themselves to be further ahead than they already are, like all the way up to around 14 minutes. They're stacking Ancients for their Beastmaster on Gamin. So his net worth is still increasing and increasing. They're pumping more money into it. Can't contest on Liquid because you're already behind. It just got worse and worse.
And perhaps this is an example or a symptom of not having Boxy anymore. Like, we give so much credit to Nisha himself, but we always talk about how Boxy is a very, very mobile 4 position. He's constantly going for water runes, making the enemy have to chase him around in the jungle, and Insania's, this isn't his role. And
right.
Jabs also not really able to fulfill that. And so as a result, it's not really too surprising that Quinn just, like you said, has Nisha's number.
Yeah.
And I think that when we talk about, I mean, the missing of Boxy, yes, but when we're talking about Nisha having a rough lane, and that sometimes happens if his hero gets picked earlier. We have seen that in the past as well, but when Nisha has a rough lane, there's normally one player in particular that takes over the role. And this time it should have been, in my opinion, like Zion the Batrider. Maybe like we didn't really feel his presence as much as what we normally do. What happened to him this game?
He played bad offlane and didn't get kills. He tried his best. They dove to Lina, and we saw him cam there how Joshua was like, what are they trying to do? Like, they can't dive me like this. Got a double kill right away, and that's just the nature of bad offlane. If that happens, your game is kind of over. It's very difficult. At least your laning stage is over, and Batriders are here that does not come back from a loss like that very well.
And you saw Doratio just gets like faster items as a result of it. He hit like a faster boosted travel timing than usual on Lina in that game. So you're just, it snowballed very quickly. Their presence globally became much more oppressive all of a sudden. So all these things in this grand finals, it's like you just can't make these sorts of mistakes.
So Batrider falling behind, is that part of the reason why we rarely see Bat offlane? It's just pretty much default mid every single time.
Yeah, it's more stable in the mid lane, and it's very volatile in the offlane. The only player we've really seen make it work is Whisper, right? But he gets so many kills in the laning stage. It's like a razor-thin margin of you're going to destroy the game or you're going to be useless, and a lot of players don't want to take that risk.
They do not indeed, and it looks like Gamin Gladiators, they're 2-0 up in this grand finals. We've learned a lot about them over these last 2 weeks, of course, especially, and it's time to learn a little bit more about them as they talk about themselves.
As Dota players, have you felt that playing or becoming part of the scene, let's say, right, as you grow up the ranks, and you know more Dota players, you befriend them more, and you start to become more of a community? Do you feel like you found something that perhaps you were missing before, that you found something that is special to you in the community itself?
I think I've definitely found a lot of, like in sort of more recent times, maybe even post like the COVID era, I think I've found a lot of like close friends from Dota, which is like, I don't know, it's weird to have like international friends and not have friends like where you live. But I do think like there's some really cool people in the scene, and getting to like know people, and you show up to some place and like you're just like, oh hey, it's like really genuinely good to see people, and you get to like hang out with them and stuff. Like that's really cool to show up, and it's like actually really cool to see this person, and you spend time with them and stuff. Like, and you're playing the tournament, obviously that stuff sort of takes full focus, but there's just awesome people around you get to spend time with. Like that's really cool.
For example, Ace, I know you played for ages in a team of like the Danish stack, right, that you played with for like almost 2 years, was it? 2 years and a half almost? You guys played together. Do you guys keep in touch, for example?
Yeah, I still keep in touch with like Hester, Joe, and Neuer and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And Crit, that I also played with quite some times back in these stacks. So yeah, we are still like really good friends. We always like make some arrangement where we hang out or something, like maybe
That's sick, actually.
every half a year or something. Yeah.
That's nice. So you do feel like you've managed to find a little bit of community as well, right, in your long history? Yeah, with those guys. If you don't mind me asking, how was it when, like, you guys had to part ways a little bit? Because I know they had their compromises in life as well, some of them, but you eventually had to part ways as well because you were going also to bigger teams sometimes. And how did that feel for you?
Like in the beginning, I went to Team Secret from this stack, and it's like it was way different because like when I played with the stack, we were like way closer together, and like we were like actually like really good friends when we were playing. Whereas like Team Secret is like now it's a little more business side, like you didn't really know each other and maybe didn't click as good as with these friends. So it did kind of open up for me that like it's way different on different teams, you know. Like this team also we're like really close together, like as friends and stuff. But like a lot of teams are not really the same, I think.
Do you value that in a team?
Yeah, I value that a lot. I think like you're spending all your time together. It's like a family almost, like. So you kind of have to be friends and have fun and crack some jokes and stuff together. Like, then that's the fun part of it, you know. It's like.
So you guys would all say that you enjoy your position here, you enjoy your job, being in Lima, participating in the major. Chill, yeah. It's pretty chill. That's your answer. Okay.
All right, it's time for the teams to come back into those booths because the battle must continue. It's a best of 5 after all. Gamin Gladiators, they are looking so good on this main stage right now, and their opponent, Team Liquid, something needs to happen, something needs to change. Yes, they are playing with a stand-in, which make things extra rough, and obviously it is extra impressive that they're here in the grand finals to begin with. And we cannot understate that, but at the same time, they got their work cut out for them, and we did see them do it this morning, Neil.
Yeah, they do the work, but it's hard to do all of the work. Yeah, Jabs is standing in for Boxy. He's also the analyst. Yeah. Every single time they have one of these matches, he doesn't have the time to watch the replay, look at all the visions, see what the warding situation was, and synthesize all the information from all the lanes. So it's two factors that are missing from this Team Liquid roster, it feels.
Absolutely. And maybe that means a little bit more pressure on the coaches. Of course, Blitz is in the booth with Team Liquid. CY is in the booth for Gamin Gladiators. And yeah, they definitely have to analyze this very intensely, Sheep. Put yourself in Blitz's shoes for a little bit, if you will.
Okay. All right, guys. You're all my good friends. I love you all. I'm so proud of you and the road that we've taken to get here. Boxy may not be with us, but he's with us in spirit. So I want all of you to just close your eyes and think of Boxy's smiling face. And remember, you can do this.
I could actually completely hear this verbatim said by Blitz in Blitz's voice.
Tate bayo. As he wears his Naruto jacket.
I'm going to abandon after a speech like that. I'm just going to walk out immediately.
It's too crazy.
He literally, but he literally did those speeches. We heard them at TI.
At TI, he was given the most, like...
Yeah, oh, yes. I heard his voice crack in those speeches. Yeah, exactly. The emotion.
Better.
Well, you want me to start crying? I will.
Yeah. No, just kidding. No, I think the biggest obstacle they have right now is the fact that I think versus Talon, they out-strategized them all in all. So, like, I think in this matchup specifically, they've got a couple fires to put out. One is Jabs has got to become a world-class 5 really quickly when they already had one. But now Insania, who was a world-class 5, needs to become a world-class 4 all of a sudden. And that's a lot of change all at once.
It really is. And it all comes down to the poison. As you got to pick one, Neil. And maybe